everybody, 30th of September, and here we are on Sanntangle Tile number 585. So I've got a bit of paper underneath today and I've blank tile because what I thought it'd be nice to show you how I ink one of my tiles. I know we've done this a couple of times. Just give me a second, I can get mine. Here we go, there's my tile I've inked today. But sometimes it's nice to sort of see, look at those little sort of pockets there. It's, hopefully it's dry enough, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to show you first, and then we'll get on with drawing our tile, shall we? So I've got a couple of inks here. It doesn't matter which ones. Water-based are always my go-to. So I've got a couple here, look, colour clouds. I use all sorts of different ones going. So I've got a purple and a bit of a grey here. So I'm not going to be sort of overly worried about where this goes, in a sense. Sorry. But here we go, a bit of a brush. Now, I used this brush earlier to put the grey on as well. So I'm not going to, again, worry about too much going on. So I'm going to swill it in. Now, if you feel that you need to, usually a glass mat works fine because, you know, all this ink that's going on the paper is kind of wasted. But I'm not going to worry about it for this. See, these are quite wet, so they do take a little bit longer to dry. So I'll put a little bit of that purple on. And a little bit of the grey. Again, I usually, if I'd got all my stuff here, I would use different brushes for this, but being that I haven't, I'm going in with it. So I'm not particular. And I noticed as well, you see my fingers look have appeared on there, right on the very edge. You don't want to be touching it because it will give you those fingerprints. Now, if you want a complete blend, then what I would do is just keep going with it over and over and over. But because we're sort of going to spray it anyway, I don't mind too much if it's a little bit textured. Sometimes that can be a good thing. So at this point, you've got a choice. You can leave it as is. You can spritz it with a load of water and throw just regular table salt over it. You can just spritz it and leave it to dry. You could dry it with a little heat gun, which will give it a slightly different feel. But I mean, I have been using, and I've told you about this a few times, this a little bit. I don't know if you can, you know, there you go. And literally, I'm going to just spray it like that. You see? And then see where those bubbles have formed? That's going to sort of leave those little pockets. You can see it, look, already. See? There. And I'll completely leave that dry. It will flatten. See how it curls? That's okay. It's supposed to do that. It's the sign of a good card. And once it's dry, it'll fold out again. So you can see here, look, that I've got this one. It's pretty flat. So I'm going to leave that to dry. And I don't know if it's going to dry before we've finished our tile, but I'll let you have a look at it, okay? So here's one that I have done. I say it's got some of those little crevices in, things going on, but it's toned it down a little bit, hasn't it? All right, so hopefully that's helped a little bit. I don't need to worry about that. Never worry about it, honestly. It's fine. So here we go. Pencil, ruler, what are we doing? Okay, I'm going to go in with a diagonal. Now, you're not going to need to see this line when you're finished. These are just guidelines. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do this way as well. So let's find the middle. Just line the bottom of my little ruler up there. There we go. Same on this one. Hopefully that's been helpful to people. I know Chris did a bit of a video. So there's one on YouTube, isn't there, showing how you do that. But sometimes it's nice to see it in real time, isn't it? Okay, let's move in a bit. So I've got that going on. Okay. So next little bit is I want to put a little mark. So looking at this cross here, I'm going to put little marks at the top. I'm not going to measure, but if you want to, you can. So they're sort of similar. So I know where I'm heading. So far, so good. And on the cross that's going diagonally, I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to go a little bit high. Not exactly the same, but still it looks a little bit higher, doesn't it? But let's put them in. As long as they're all the same on yours, it's fine. Don't try and measure according to mine. It's fine. Okay. So in the middle here, I want to put myself a little diamond shape. So again, I can come in, look, and I can by eye put those little lines in. And let's join them. There, 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 and there. So I've got my little diamond, okay? And then from there, let's have a look. About, we're going to go halfway, about halfway, like so. And then I'm going to use my ruler because I want to put myself a square in. Now, again, don't think, oh gosh, what's the size of that? We're just going to get one in. It's about halfway between there and there. You see, I'm joining those lines anyway, so that's a little bit out already, but that's okay. As long as I've got something that I can work with. Okay. So we're happy with that, and we know. I'm going to come in with a pen. I'm not going to draw this one in, but I am going to draw in that one in the middle. And being that I've got a straight edge, I'm going to use it to put that in, so I've got it. You can see. So I'm going to put a little frame on the inside as well. So again, I might as well use my ruler there and just put that in. And that one. Okay. So far, so good. So we've got that in, we've got our square in. So now I want to come in with some little bubbles. So you can do this in pencil or in pen, whatever you're happier with. But you see where you've got this square, this is what we're going to use to help us. So I'm going to look at the middle here, between here and here. It's about there. I'm going to put a bubble in. And the same on that one. Okay, turn it round. Same again, look, bubble there. Bubble there, you see? And again, let's have a look at that. Bubble there. Bubble there. Oh, hello, Kathy. I'm sure Alice has sent you an email this morning. I hope you got it. Apparently we've sent you something restricted. I have no idea what that is. But we're investigating. Okay. Oh, Vicky, I know spritzing tiles are ace, aren't they? And if I wanted to, I could go back over this and ink again around the edges to make it darker. I might do that at the end if you want, see how it goes. And then, of course, you know, using stencils gives it that little bit of depth as well, doesn't it? Right, we all done those? Okay. So, remember these points we did? This is where now they're coming in. Is an importance, because what I want to do, I'm going to go around and create that shape. And on this side, do you think it was glitter, Chris? I don't know. I don't know. We are looking at new products, actually. I know, because glitter we brought in. Oh, fair enough. But we are looking at a few new bits and pieces. Oh, it's exciting times. Trying different things out. And giving John the bill. Okay, so I've done that on all four sides. So far, so good then. Okay, and let's take each one of these now to, let's go, am I going to the point? Now I'm going to go to this point. I'm going to go each one to this point. So I'm going to go round and down to that point there. So this one's going to go here to that one, like so. And again, so along here, and I'm coming down to that middle, so that diagonal. Oh, Joe, give it a go. You know what is there to lose? If it's not, who says it's right or wrong? It's just, this is my version, and you do yours. Look at this, it's nice, isn't it? Even if we just did this bit, I think it looks nice. It's a bit like an unusual four-leaf clover kind of shape, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. All right, so we've got this mark as well. So what I want to do here is I'm going to come around this dot and go up to this one, like that. And the same on this side, around the dot, up to that one. It's curved slightly more than the other one, but I don't mind. Let's try it this way. And then this way, see how that looks. You know, experiment a bit. Oh, see, look at the difference that's made. So, I'm going to do both of these first. Muscle memory kicking in. Oh, Kathy, I know, it's silly. But we've kind of got a plan. we're looking at different ways of what we can do. So we'll be in touch, Kathy. We'll investigate what's going on, and then we'll be in touch. All right, so we've got this shape going on. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this one here, and what I want to do is put inside a shape. So I'm going to follow what I've already got. And to there. And down there. I've not gone too wide there. Kept it quite narrow. If you think you can't do it that narrow, then leave it. It's fine. It's just one step that I'm putting in. You don't have to copy completely. And along there. And along there. So it was quite nice getting in a little bit earlier. I'm not going to lie, on Sunday. With finishing on Hobby Maker at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was home just after 7. So that was nice. It's getting dark though, you know, and you notice now all the leaves are changing colour. And I noticed actually that on the road up from Redditch, the trees were a lot browner and more gold and orange than they are up here in Scunthorpe and Doncaster. So maybe we're a little bit behind getting our little bit of autumn on. Well, it won't be long before they're all done, is it? And there's no leaves on the trees at all. Okay, see, I'm going to do something similar here. But see, I've gone straight to the edge there. Oh, more I know, it's great. This is lovely, isn't it? And up there. And again, just to sort of help me out, I'm using those lines, see? So my point is on that line. Wherever I can, anyway. I'm not saying it's going to be every time, but there we go. And then here, look, it's coming down to there. So I'm not going to a point. It's looking like it's going underneath that shape in the middle. And around we go. So each one. And please remember, you don't have to keep up with me. I do tangle really fast. Oh, Susan, do you know what? I know it is. I kind of like those colours, and you've got like a little bit of warmth now and again. Sort of a little bit of a hint of summer, isn't it? But then, you know, you get those cold mornings, a bit of frost. I must admit, actually, I've gone back to doing my positivity quilt, you know, with all those lovely, glowy, warm fabrics that give you a little hint of the season. So I'm working on that at the minute. Okay, so far so good there. So let's have a look at what we've got in terms of square that we can still see. Okay, I'm going to come in with... Now, what am I going to do here? I'm going to just put in the corner pieces. See that one there, look. Not going to touch this one. But I'm going to do this one here. Not going to touch that one. That one's going in there. Leaving that one. That one in there. And leaving that one. Just to remind me now, I'm going to get rid of that sort of square shape in there because I don't want to get carried away and end up drawing over it, you see? Oh, Vicky, I know, but I quite like wrapping up a little bit. I'm wearing my boots. I've got lots of boots. All different colours. So, yeah, you can't really wear them in the summer, can you? The other day I wore bright green sparkly ones with my jeans. They were nice. Okay, so they're so far so good. All right, let's have a little look now. Again, back at these points. Oh, I'll use this one because the sides are similar, whereas that one went a little bit wider, but it's okay. So I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to create a shape like that. And the same there. And turning it round now. So point to point, putting a curve in. Same again. Point to point. And again. There you go. Okay. And in each one of these, let's go with, I'm going to kind of mirror. And I'm going to put a smaller one, look. And maybe one there. Doesn't matter if it's... Oh, are you, Sharon? Well, I've got a shirt on today. Imagine, I've got a shirt on today, my tartan, and I've got, look, my sweatshirt on, so. But that's just, I feel just nice, you know, I feel cosy. Right, I don't have to be the same with this as I have with the others, but what I do want to do is kind of mirror what I've got there. So, along there, look, can I put one maybe there? You see, just giving a little bit of a difference. I haven't really given myself much space to do anything else with, but that's okay, all right? So looking at the space in between now, I'm going to turn it this way for myself, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, like that. No, Vicky. John does as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and let's fill that in. And again, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you've, yeah, it's that kind of, sometimes it's a little bit cold. I mean, we've got blue skies and sun out here at the moment. But it changes, doesn't it? Okay. All right, let's have a look at the next bit. A little bit inside here. I'm going to go 1, 2 in there and fill in that bottom section there. Okay, again, 2, fill in the bottom section. And again. Oh gosh, Joy, that's quite, yeah. It's funny, isn't it, how different parts of the country can be so drastically different. But, by the next few days, it's going to be October, so. And Christmas lights are up already in places. I know, crazy. Okay, let's have a look at this one now. I'm going to start. You can do this either way. You could do it from this side if you want to. Actually, let's do it. So let's go 1, 2 and fill it in. See, I've just made another change. Not really much of one, just felt like it. And this is the thing, you know, if you're doing something, you think, oh, actually, I've got that idea, and what if it did this? We can do that. Oh, Vicky, I know, but you know what, Vicky, I'm addicted to making quilts. So I've got a quilt for quilt for all seasons. At the moment, I've got a big Bargello one on the bed. So, okay, so looking at this, this is going to be the base, and I'm going to put myself a loop in. We do love our loops, don't we? And then I'm going to get another 2 on this side, and another 2 on this side. So I'm kind of filling that space up. All right. The only difference to this one and the one I'd got in prep is my loops went the other way around. So I started my loops here and went outwards. That was all. I've just changed the flow. Felt like it. Next one, look. Okay. And this one. Oh, Vicky, I know. That's the thing, isn't it? Colour in, you know, the sort of, as we start to go into winter. My advice is as much colour as you can. Get your coloured pencils out. You know, use coloured backing papers. Add inks that are brightly coloured. Look at that. Okay, so I am going to come in and am I going to use, I think I'm going to use my brush pen for this, because there's quite a few bits there, look, that are quite big. Even if I sort of do the middle bit, look, I can still leave it a bit scruffy there, look. Just fill those middle bits in. And then come in and use my 03. Okay, see? All right. I was having a look today, actually, at what was special about today, apart from the fact that we're all here and we're spending some time together. Apparently it's something like National Chewing Gum Day. Oh, sunny in Florida. Of course it is, Kathy. Of course it is. I love Florida. But yeah, I mean, I never liked chewing gum when I was at school, let alone when I was teaching. It's not my thing. Don't get it. There we are, look, so I'm just sort of filling the bits in. Oh, Maureen, have you? I know Leslie's been away and she's got it. She's got a cold. But, yeah, it tends to happen, doesn't it? So, look at the difference that's made, look, by filling that in with a bit of ink. That's crazy, isn't it? When it does that. I just, you see, I'm not going too close to the edge. If you're a little bit nervous, look, you can do that. See, fill most of it in. You put the right lid on, that'll help. Missed a bit there. And then come in, look, and fill those bits. All right. Look at the difference of that. That's brilliant. Okay, next little bit then. So I'm going to have a look on the outside. While I'm just thinking of it, I'm just going to get rid of, you know, those pencil lines. Don't really need them so much anymore. Remember me saying to you that you were going to do them lightly anyway, so you might not need to rub them out. You might find that they're okay. Oh, I've still got my brush bits remover. Although I'm minus a rubber, I did sort of fall asleep on the sofa last night, and Finn did go in and have a bit of a rummage. And John took part of a rubber off him. Don't know what it is. It's pencil rubbers and my glasses. Okay, so I'm going to come up here, look. I'm going to put a sort of a straightish line and a bobble on the end. Let's fill that in. And I'm going to come around that line, follow the shape. Okay. Oh, thank you, Faye. I think all of them are different, and I do try and give everybody something they like. I know you won't like everyone, but, you know, it stands to reason, doesn't it? Let's have a little look at, see, look. Now, you can do them facing the same way if you want, or you can do a kind of mirror image. I'm not trying to make it exact. It's never going to be. But, there we go, look. Now, let's do one this way. Like so. And around there. Let's do another. So, I've kind of now got the pattern going, haven't I? I've got the larger one. So let's do that so I don't forget. Because I know sometimes we can get carried away, can't we? So if I put in, let's just check, look, the larger ones in the, yeah. Do all of those first. See? Then hopefully it's going to help me to, there you go, get it right. Oh, Maureen. Just sort of chill out a little bit. Yeah. Sit with your feet up. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do all these first. Oh, not that one though, I've done that one. Draw around them. And this one. Okay. Just take your time with it. If you wanted to, you could use coloured pen for this as well. You don't have to use all black. And then look, they're all this way. Well, I think they were anyway. It seems like ages since I took them. But yeah, they are. Okay. We've done that one. And this one. And that one. Right. I think the other thing, you know, about October, sort of like autumn-y, you get loads of dramas on the TV. Lots of new dramas, and I think they're brill. So something decent to watch. There's a few come out, isn't there, recently? And I don't know if you're the same as me, but I don't tend to really watch them. I tend to listen. So anything that starts going into different languages, I lose my way with them because, of course, I'm not actually watching. Normally my head's down with a pen and paper. Right, coming in, look, I'm putting curves in. Okay. So, all the way around and in. Now, at this point, you can think, well, am I going to add colour or am I going to just ink this? And I've noticed a lot of posts recently. I know you're all getting into your drawing and we've really seen progress there. But I know you get a little bit nervous when it comes to colour. Maureen, I'm agreeing with you there. So the best way to do it is like I've done with recent stencils, and come in and shade the majority of it with your pencil and Tortillon, and then add a pop of colour in places so it doesn't become so daunting. And then of course it means that you can build your confidence just in that little bit and then build up as you need to. They don't all have to be full colour if you don't want them to be. Right, let's have a little look at this. Look at that. Okay, so first things first then, what are we going to put in colour and what are we going to go in with shading? So the middle is sort of the central focus point, isn't it? So I reckon I'm going to put colour in the middle. Joe, you're going to be fab. And I'm going to put colour on these as well, these bits. Okay. Now, being that I've actually got, like it was a purple, wasn't it, that I've used on the edge there. So easiest way of doing this then is to bring purple in over the top of there. So I've got a couple of different ones. I've got pink purples, or I've got like a bluey purples, if that makes sense. Being that I've used grey, I'm going to come in with Forget-Me-Not and Lagoon and a bit of white, always the white. And then if I've got one, I have Purple Gem. All right, so those are my colours. I'm going to sort of stick with them for now, okay? So let's have a little look at this. Middle first, I'm going to leave this one. Okay. So I'm not going to do that. Oh, did you, Faye? Yeah, the black edition, you know, over the darker would be brilliant. Then my black edition are in my box, you know, from the show the other day. My box is still in the back of my car, so I'm using my my in-house tin of pencils. So let's go in with the white. We haven't done this for a little bit. So here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of white, just a little bit there, look, so I've got a highlight. You might not see it, look. Well, there you go, just see a bit of it. But I know it's there. And that kind of stops you filling everything else in because it'll resist. And same with these, look, I'm going to come in and put some in the middle. I'm going to go over those dots, it's fine. Okay. And you know, I mean, another good thing about these is if you find that being the smaller pieces are too small, get yourself a bigger piece of paper. Do something different that way, go bigger. Okay, see, so I've got whites in the middles of each. So, okay, I've got two here. I've got Forget-Me-Not and Lagoon. Let's have a look. See, the Lagoon, look, is darker, see, than the Forget-Me-Not. So I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to start in the corners. I'm going to put a bit in. Not all the way down, look, just a bit. I'm not pressing on. I'm not trying to fill it completely. Just sort of starting it off. Saying, look, this is where I want this colour to be. See? All right, let's do this one. Kind of, you know, just add it in. No rush with this. And this works with a lot of things. Leaves, petals, all sorts of things. You see, I've got those in the corners. And I'm going to choose a side. Now, my white bit's there. So that's going to be kind of my lightest bit. So this is where the darkest bit's going to go around there. Look. I'm going to slightly curve it a bit, see? So it's more here, less at the top. Okay. So then if I bring that other colour in, that lighter one, that Forget-Me-Not, I'm going to pull that in, swirl it a bit. But I'm still not really blending it. Taking my time here so you can see how I do it. See? So I've left that little bit there. And here, I'm going to pull it down a bit. So it's sort of going over that white, but not completely covering it. You see? Okay. Same with this one. So you see, I'm not really having to sort of really work with this. I think the idea with pencils is, as much as you think, oh, it's going to take ages, it doesn't, you do get into the flow. I'm really breaking it down for you today so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to bring that white in, sort of over the top there. Don't need to there, we've not really touched much. So now let's bring in like purple gem. This is my darkest. And I'm going to add some in the corners. I am going to put a little bit of pressure on now. Just a little bit, see? You can tell the difference. And so a little bit at the top there. And a little bit there. And into there. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that there. And then here, I'm going to go along the edge where it's the darkest there. Okay. So back in with that mid colour, which is my lagoon. And this time again, a little bit more pressure. You notice I'm swirling it all the time. Swirls. Helps it to blend. Then over the top where my first colour went, but you see I'm going over the top of that purple gem. Moving it down a little bit. Same in those. Same in this one. So you see, as you start to add a little bit more pressure, you've already got coloured pencil there. So it's starting to help you to blend it. So that lighter one now. You see, now I'm coming in. I'm not completely filling the white, but I'm going over some of it. And again, that's helping to give it a little bit of a soft look there. Getting a highlight in the middle. Let's see. Now, if you wanted to do the loops, these ones, you could do it in the same way. And then, you know, use your Tortillon for these. It depends what you want to sort of show, doesn't it? It's going to give it a different look. And here, look, I'm going to sort of go round and sort of a little bit in there. You see, I'm sort of like owning around that white. Let's bring that white back in, sort of enhance that highlight a little bit. Okay. Now, a great way to add a little bit of shine to this is a white gel pen. And I'm going to add, you know where it's darkest, a couple of little droplets of white gel pen. Okay, let's have a little look at that. So there you go, there's my pieces that are going to stand out now. It's just going to give it that little bit of a hint, isn't it? So let's take our 2B pencil now. I'm going to come on in there, look, and I'm going to do top and bottom. So if you were going to do this in pencil, this is exactly the same as what you would do. Okay. But if you wanted to colour this the same as we coloured those, you would do this the same way. Okay. Okay, so top and bottom. Putting those bits in. Okay. Oh, I'm just checking there that I did do two. And here, again, you've got a bit of a choice. I'm going to come up the edges there. All of those. So again, I'm going to go round and do all of them first. Not too much because they're quite small. Okay, and then I'm going to go inside that square that we did. Remember that from the very beginning? Inside there. Okay, let's get the Tortillon out and give that a soften off. Again, I don't want it to go all the way to the middle. I'm just going to soften it off a little bit at the top there, and then along that bit, leaving a gap in the middle. Okay, same with this one. So I could go round and do all the shading in one sort of base, then turn it and do the other, but it's your choice, isn't it? I'm kind of prolonging this little bit. So I'm doing the shading in all of these, then I'll go back and do the other bits. More in that would be nice, on these especially. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Or if you've got a glaze pen or something, might do that. When I say I should, you know, what have I got here? Some of the things, I've not actually unpacked yet, but I've got 2 or 3 boxes full of pens and things. And then, of course, we've got glitters, little bits of glitter in these. It'd be lovely. So I'm going to move that all the way down there. So I've done my square, and then this one, kind of working all the way along. And there's my square. Let's go along. And it's amazing when you think what you can do with them, isn't it? I mean, they make fab cards. I think if you send somebody something like this, the chances are they're going to save it because it's a piece of art, isn't it? Back with pencil it. You see where we've got these little shapes? Going to go along there. Okay. I mean, these, I know they're great for having that bit of a mindful moment, aren't they? But I do like to use them for cards. Looks like that. I think it looks lovely. If you're not sure on how you could do that, if you have a look at your book 4, Tiles, Tangles and Techniques, that one focuses on creating card fronts. So, I'm planning on taking that to Hobby Maker this weekend, so it's a nice one to look at. Okay, so softening that up, look. There we go. So I think look at that. Being that I've got my white chalk pencil, I'm going to come in and add some on those spaces, on those loops. You see the difference? Look, let's go in a little bit. So not massive, but you can tell it's more white than that because I've got like a bit of a purple and grey on the underneath. It just brings it back to life. And because I've got pencil in there, I've used a Tortillon. A chalk pencil's probably the easier one to sort of work with. Have a little bit in those areas. And one there, look. Okay, let's have a little look at what we're doing there. All right, not too bad. So almost there. I'm going to come back in with my black pen and just see where I've put that shadow or that shade in there. I'm going to come back in and add my pen in again. Sort of. Now I am going up the whole line and back again. I'm just thickening it up a little bit. And the reason we only do a little bit of this, we don't sort of do everything, is if you did everything, it'd elevate all of it to the same level. We're trying to separate things off if we can, just to make it a little bit different. You see, and I think last thing, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to fill it all with ink because I can come back in and add a little drop of white pen. Okay, so get my white pen again. And I just want a little sort of a drop of like a highlight in each one. Oh, it does, doesn't it, Vicky? If you took the time to make a card for someone, not just make it, but actually draw something. You see where I'm going to just go in them as well. Let's have a look at that so you can see the difference. Because I've kind of coloured over the pen there. Put those in. And this one. Okay. And next one. Just these extra little bits of detail at the end, I think, make all the difference. See, we could even, look, let's do it, add a little drop in those as well. See how it just suddenly makes it look a little bit more 3D. Just because you've got that little highlight, a little bit of sheen going on. Okay, almost. A couple more to do, and then we'll have a look at the whole thing. There you go. Let's have a look. All right. So there we go. There it is. It's a little bit different today. I mean, of course, using grey ink to actually ink a tile is not something you'd think of doing, but it does actually give it a little bit of an edge, doesn't it? But it's shadow. So let's have a look at that. And if I just bring in, because I've had this sat in the sunshine in the window ledge. This is the one that we inked earlier. See, like it's not as bent as it was, look. I can just sort of even it up again. And let's have a little look. Look at that. You see, so that kind of... So whatever you've got in the cupboard, of course, if you've got a bit of bleaching, which this obviously have, then please make sure you're not spraying it on something that's going to affect the work surface, but it gives you an idea, doesn't it? And I did sort of mention about inking this afterwards, because this is dry now. So if I bring this back in and I bring a little bit more of that purple back, or maybe even, let's see what's on the brush already. Yeah, there's still a little bit on the brush. Look, let's bring a little bit more in and come on in and swirl around. You see, so I'm not putting much on. Just be gentle with it. And see what a difference that makes, because I say it's dry now. I'm not going to go into my drawing. I'm just doing the edges. And of course, if you wanted to go over your drawing, I would probably use a bit of some spray and shine or fixative first, and then go over. See, I could just have easily done this in the grey ink. Almost there. So I've just gone around the edges, look. Let's have a look at that. Take that away. You see now it's got a little bit more around the edge. Just gives it a little bit something different. So there you go. There's our tile for the day with a little bit of inking advice. So I'll try and do a little bit as I'm going, but of course we're more interested in a sense in the drawing, but I am more than happy to help out if need be. So if you need to see a little bit more, Chris, I'm sure, has done a video on how he inks tiles as well. So give it a go and see what happens. But other than that, have a lovely afternoon, everybody, wherever you are, whether you're in the sunshine, whether you're wrapped up with a blanket and a cup of tea with a snuffle. But nice to sort of spend some time with you all, and I'll catch up with you again on Friday. So see you soon, everybody. Bye.